you're going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places to qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Barani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult the understeer in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Barani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of the line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's just such trouble. He's not a second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching
dear.
the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Alright, here we are then with a new league by the Sim Racing Collective. We are going to be watching the new season of the GT4 series here We are going to be starting off on the Red Bull Ring tonight. I am joined here by Biggles. Hello, Biggles. How's it going, my friend?
Good, thank you. Loving this in the sound of music in the Austrian hills, my friend. That's where the movie was made, in case you didn't get the reference to that.
I'm not that old to know that, right?
Some people do, some people don't. Foggy conditions, as you can see. But I don't think any weather, my friend. No, I don't think there's going to be any rain. It's just going to be that. Yeah.
It's still going to be tricky with the visibility all around, although not having a difficult wet track to race on, obviously that does matter quite a bit in a game like iRacing, so it's going to be interesting to see how that one goes out here. And, well, obviously with... Sorry?
Did you just say that iRacing's a game?
Yeah, okay, simulator.
All right.
Okay, see. I do too much Counter-Strike, my friend. That's the issue here.
Yes, that's a game. This is a simulation, my friend. Laser scan tracks, cars, detailed, down to the nitty gritty. You can get hurt if your force feedback kicks you back or something like that.
Yeah, I've been there. I mean, this is a huge step up from, what I usually do. Instead, of course, the competition. This is like proper stuff, So it's going to get interesting to see how this one pans out here. More realism. And from what I've seen as well, a pretty big and also a pretty skillful field, as far as I could tell by the ratings here on the sim grid, as well as the iRatings that we have here. This is some serious league we're talking about. And, well, can't wait to see where this one ends up going in the end. I've got the timing ready at least. I've got all my screens ready to make sure that we provide an entertaining broadcast. And we are currently into qualifying here, which is going to be 15 minutes. And then we are going to be moving on with a 40-minute sprint race here.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that one with the Sim Racing Connect Collective. Has raced quite a few different types of cars as well too throughout the series. So please join up to the league if you're interested in racing out with these gladiators. And on top of it, please hit out. Well, we are simultaneously streaming on the TSRC YouTube channel as well as the JPB Broadcasting. And we're about 9 away from 2,000, so if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. It means a lot. We'll keep our boss man happy. He's on holiday at the moment in Spain. He'll have a big smile to his face if we can reach 2,000.
That's a big number, my friend. That's really when it starts to matter, right?
Yes, well, that's all the hard work over a couple of years has paid off. Exactly, Streaming multiple leagues, it's a lot of them. And just goes to show how much James really does love his motor racing and commentating it. As Red Bull, tricky track, right? I mean, we're on board. Well, it's a technical track, but it's fast. And it's only got 13 corners? I don't really count that kink as a turn.
I think officially it is a turn. Although, obviously, you won't really feel it too much, right? As you're just following the lines.
You go flat through it, so you don't have to lift.
Yeah, exactly. But it is officially counted as turn 2 there.
You know why they did that? I think they did that, and if anybody in the chat knows, I think they did that because of you have to have a certain amount of corners, don't you, for a grade 1 track or something like that. Yeah, FIA. I think.
I wouldn't be surprised, but then again, you have to consider as well. Obviously, this track does feature multiple layouts. Like the only reason I believe it's there because the MotoGP layout obviously has that weird zigzag in the track there. Whereas I think if you would have done that with a car, it would just kill every momentum, and there really wouldn't be much opportunity to get down in corner number. Well, what is free now? So I guess it also comes from a little bit of like a racing perspective, right? Because if you want good overtakes, you're gonna have to allow people to go on the brakes late somewhere. And I think that was kind of also one of the reasons for it. Now, with the conditions like this, it's also going to be a little bit of how much you trust each other, I think. You don't see as much you like to see here. And I think that's also going to be a big part of this, right? Who dares to go down the inside more on a track like this? You've got plenty of opportunity to try and take all that slipstream through to many of the long straights. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 long straights, I guess, on the track, you can call it. Mm-hmm. So obviously that is going to play a big factor into this as well. So I'm curious to see how everything will play out here. So we're currently watching the qualifying. We're seeing more and more times come in at the moment here. The first times have been set all around, and it's currently Volkan Bakiryan who is in the top position with a 1:37.2. Although I wouldn't be surprised here if those times would get down by another second or maybe even 2 later on in the session here. As there's still 10 minutes to go. The drivers obviously getting more and more confidence in their car and in the track right now. Everybody's sending their first reference laps. Then you can try and risk it a little more. See if you can find some tenths here by driving yourself over the absolute limit. Well, not over it, obviously, but on the limit whenever possible. So it's going to be interesting for me. How much more can these drivers gain? I mean, there's a big grid that we are going to be watching as well. So with all the different iRacing skill levels, with all the different cars on track, I think this is going to get quite interesting because which car is the fastest? Which driver is going to get that early lead coming into this event, knowing that we've got 5 more events after this as well. Right, just building up that quick lead right now would be absolutely massive. Especially because I've seen already that the tracks that we have ahead of us, they are rather interesting. And honestly, there's quite a few technical tracks out there to this league. Especially Sebring coming after this. That's going to be an interesting one as well. Difficult track in my opinion, especially with all the bumps coming around. We've got a street track on there. Mo Sport, one of my favorite tracks as well, located in Canada. This is a very technical calendar for what I can see. So I'm actually curious, who's going to do the best here. So I got to be honest here. I haven't heard of most of the drivers before here. So to me, it's going to be a total surprise here.
Maybe you could pronounce the American driver that just went quicker again by quite about 3/10 almost on Karen Sharp's time. That's
it's going to be
Bart.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, we can pronounce his surname if you don't mind.
That's the tricky part. Well, I think it's Bakirdan. That would be my guess. But I think they might be able to go under the 37 mark here. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see some 36s coming around rather soon here. So we're currently following all the drivers coming in here. Do you have a specific favorite for this event? Obviously, you've been with the Sim Racing Collective for a little bit longer. So do you have any specific drivers that you think are worth watching a little bit extra?
Not really. Not coming into the start of the season like this, no.
Not really any driver you remember from previous
you got these
championships
GT4s as well too, so I haven't really seen them in these cars.
Oh, that's true. I mean, obviously these cars are... I mean, what was the previous league they did? I mean, they've done a couple, of course, so... Obviously, there is quite a big difference between driving a Radical or any open wheeler compared to these big, heavy, very little downforce GT4 cars, right? So your driving style is also going to have to take a little bit of a change to perform to the absolute max here, which makes it even more interesting, in my opinion. Now, with qualifying being halfway done, the order currently is set as follows here. We have Bakirdan in P1, followed by, that is Sharp now in the second position. Kieran Sharp, with his best lap being a 1:47.357. Currently roughly 3/10 of the pace of the pole sitter. And the entire field that we have here currently is set within roughly 2.5 seconds here. So this is going to be a race where I think almost everybody's going to be competitive. So I really can't wait for this one.
Yes, the good thing about obviously the Spielberg track is that you tend to bunch up a good amount of people, being a shorter track as well too. So even you get into like open wheel racing and stuff like that, you start seeing these cars separated by top 10 separated by 2/10 or 3/10 or something like that as well. So that's quite good at the moment. And you can see the top 10 separated by a second. It's fantastic. And these cars right here on turn 3, one of the best overtaking places on any road course, because of the fact that you can take kind of a couple of different interesting racing lines into that one. You look like you might get the on the inside get the overtake done, but then you've scrubbed off your speed by not using the racing line on the exits. So thus for you'll see a nice little drag race before they get down to turn 4.
And then turn 4 to me is a tricky one as well, right? Because obviously it is a little bit more downhill, so you want to make sure that you can get enough braking in time. I've looked up there myself more often than I like to admit there. But yeah, the Storskott corner after that one's also a rather interesting one with a few opportunities you can take. But no, who's that? Somebody's gone off and is now facing sideways. That was one of the Mercedes, but who actually was it? I am not sure at the moment. Oh, I don't think I was able to catch it. Do you know what that was?
This one. That is Ian.
not facing the wrong right way.
Yeah, but
to
he
that point.
thankfully waited there. It's a good thing that you'll see in the series, of course, with drivers, that if you do lose it, you're on the racing line, or anywhere you are on the track, and there's cars coming around, you just stay still, because you want to be as predictable as possible for them to avoid you. You start moving, then good chance you're going to have a wreck. Or be wrecking somebody else's day as well.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously these drivers are quite serious about it, so I wouldn't really expect to see any unsafe joints. And ooh, that is once again just hitting that wall. Was that the same driver? I think it might have been. He sets into the pit immediately. And oh, that is not looking good right there.
Well, what's not looking good is we have at least 3 drivers here at the moment, and this is one of them, the Frenchman, Vinny. So Brevia, I think it is, and then 2 Englishmen. Louis Helesk, his name, so I'm going to apologize. Heskeleff, sorry, did you say? Yes.
Hesketh? Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm also just completely
Miller.
guessing.
They've yet set a time, so they've been invalidating their laps, so hopefully they can... you got to get a banker under your... See, that's pretty wide. I'm not sure if that'll get an invalidation or not. I would say you got to get out there and get a banker in. Even if it's a slower lap, just get your banker in there and then gradually pick up your pace lap by lap.
Yeah, I mean, that's generally what you see people doing, right? They'll come out the first time, try and set 2 or 3 baseline laps where you can just build up confidence a little bit there. But it seems that these drivers have actually failed to do so, or perhaps have just been out a little bit later out of the pits. I wasn't paying full attention to the drivers at the back there. But now time's kind of just ticking away, right? I mean, there's only 3 minutes left of qualifying here. Yeah. That is all they have to try and set a valid lap in. Doesn't even matter at what pace, but you need to get these laps in now. And one of them does so. Louis Hesketh just sets his first reference time there with a 1:48.266. He now has a valid lap and finds himself positioned in the midfield here.
Tom Davidson's in that P2 position and Karen Sharp, so that's... and then Jamie Nuttall. They're the regular... names that have been in the series for some time, so it'll be interesting to see these gladiators go for it. Volcan is the one that seems to be with the strongest time at the moment, but I mean, that's a 2-temp gap. That's a big gap, so see if Tom, Karen, or Jamie and those other places can do something about it. You want to just get the second row. You want to be, so you want to be on the first row, because, you know, especially with that run down the turn 1 here, pole or second is a good place. If second place has a good opportunity to get into the lead pretty quickly in this track. So, but it's a rolling start, not a standing still start. So, you know, we can't give the drivers too much of a challenge.
No, I think the thing with a rolling start is right. First of all, I feel like the gaps that you get between drivers is a little bit less on a rolling start, as everybody's paying attention. They know when they're starting. They don't need to mess around with, you know, the right upshifts and such. I do think it's a little easier, but my main concern is then also just how do you want to get around those drivers into turn 1 here, because it is just a track where I think you also have to be a little patient, right? No heroics into turn 1, I think, is the main objective here. Make sure that everybody survives. Opportunities will come nevertheless. I mean, there's 40 minutes to go to try and do it, as Vinny Brevia just sets his first time as well with a 1:48.06. Meaning that now every single driver has at least set a valid lap in, as there is only 1 minute of qualifying remaining.
So this is it for Tom. If he wants to get anything done at the moment, as I said, he's in P2, so I think he's got to try to defend this time here from Keren's in the pit road, so he's not coming. I'm not sure Jamie is on track, but nobody's really improved that much on their times recently, so I wonder if those conditions are getting a little trickier. Weather, which I'll pull up at the moment to show everybody.
I think the drivers have also just hit that point where you've kind of pushed yourself to almost the limit, right? And at that point, it's going to be very hard to even gain the last thousandths or tenths of a second. And I think everybody has kind of reached that point. Now, nobody has actually dipped into the 1:36. It's something I was expecting here. But I honestly think that for now, it's just going to be very difficult to improve. And I think we're going to see less and less improvements as the time is going to be up rather soon here. The lap abandoned here by Tom Davidson. He's not going to be finishing it. And that's going to be a big sigh of relief as well for Volkan Bakkerdan, who then is just feeling a little bit more secure that he can actually keep that P1 position coming into the race here.
Yeah, well, exactly. We got fantastic liveries too as qualifying is over. What I do like about some of the drivers is that I really don't like this in iRacing, unfortunately, but as a simulation, just having your car just disappear and go back to pit road like that immediately, I don't like that. Unless, of course, your car's completely wrecked. However, what drivers should do, and I think practice makes perfect, is driving back into pit road, because the amount of mistakes that I see all the time from drivers when they are in the pit road and misjudging their boxes, stuff like that, or speeding in the pit lane, because are they practicing their pit stops enough? That's the key, isn't it? That's what you've also got to be doing during your practice sessions and qualifying. Driving
People
your way
are
back.
always just somehow sleeping on the fact that the pit lane entry is so important, right? If you mess it up, if you're going to brake late, you're going to get yourself a penalty. If you brake too early, you're going to lose valuable time as well, because you can fight the entire race to gain a second per lap, but if you're then 3 seconds slower into the pit box, basically all for nothing. Now, I just wanted to point out as well, I said before that I was a little bit disappointed to see no drivers coming in to the 136s, but I've just looked up the lap bracket here, which is a 137.044, which means that back then it's only 6,000ths of a
Oh, wow.
world record here. And I once again have proven that I know absolutely nothing about racing.
When was that set? But well, with what cars as well too? Because
BMW M4 GT4. I mean, I've only looked at the GT4 lap record, of course, because it wouldn't be fair comparing Max Verstappen's record lap here.
Yeah, exactly.
To one of the GT4s.
Yeah.
But no, it was set in 2022 in the ADAC GT4 Germany by Gabriele Piana in the BMW M4 GT4. And speaking of BMW, I have actually I've only seen one BMW, I believe, on the grid here. So rather interesting to see that car really isn't popular at all here compared to ACC, where almost everybody drives a Bimmer.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know too much about these GTs as well too to see whether or not any of them have any straight line speed gains or something like that. Unfortunately, James usually is the broadcaster as well too. He's on vacation, so he will take care of that. As the qualifying is done and dusted, we'll get those results up. Here's one for the chat as well too, and say g'day. We have what was I going to say, my friends? That's right. Yeah, I was going to say, how much does that Red Bull statue weigh?
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
I know.
Right. You always have good questions, but you don't have the answers for me. That's the problem. All right. Well, here's the order. Anyways, as we're supposed to go over, Volkan Bakiryan in P1 with a 147.049. Next to him is Tom Davidson over from the UK. Currently 2/10 off the pace there. Then it's Kieran Sharp with to his left. It's going to be Jamie Nuttall. Then we have Arthur Gustams in his Mercedes in the 5th position here. He's the fastest B license driver that we have here today, and he's doing really well compared to some of the A drivers here, so I was surprised to see that happen. And it's Liam Gals in P6, followed by Bobby Moss.
We'll have to go through them quicker, sorry. Otherwise you're going to be going, my friend.
The Clivens, and then Pierre-Anton Douillard. Then we have Jason Marvel in P11 and Vinny Sobrivia in P12 here. Then it's Willem Chandler, Felix Smoggy, Bart Raven, the lone Dutchman in this series, followed by Louis Hespeck, driver that we talked about earlier, Andrew Pike, Richard Phillips, followed by Ian Pfeiffer, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Patrick Den, Matt Gardner, David Barnes, and then we have Johnny Wu in P23. Hayden Miller finds himself in P24 here, setting... well, all laps are gone now. That's a shame. Just wanted to check what he said, but I can't see it anymore. But, well, so be it. And then behind Hayden Miller, we have Thomas Martin and Matt Smith here. Now the lights are going to go out, but we are obviously going to be starting behind that safety car here. So we're not getting to racing as of yet. This is also, well, the drivers are going to get ready, make sure that tires are warm, making sure they are all feeling it. So when that safety car in, they are getting ready to go. Now, this is going to get interesting here. Rolling start in such foggy conditions. Like, do you go to the absolute limit here, or do you try and play it safe? It's going to get interesting, especially when there is such a big time before that turn 1 actually comes around, right? The Niki Lauda curve, there's quite a bit of opportunity, perhaps, if you're off to a really, really good start there. But we're going to see how everything plays out in just a moment. I'm really, really excited for this one. This is going to be an absolutely spectacular race. I can guarantee you that much.
I got a feeling that you're going to see some serious racing into turn 1 for sure to overtaking opportunities. And then after that, of course, up to this turn 3. Oof. There's going to be some good stuff. I just, as I said the other day, commentated on this network as well too, the Radicals, and at this track, and they can go. I said this to Kara in the green room. You can go side by side around the whole track, door to door.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And
actually,
not many tracks you can do that.
Track where you can.
Yeah. So it's fantastic, and that was what you'll see quite a bit actually. I've been expecting to see some of these drivers. And also, they'll be switching positions as well, too. Like, you get them in the turn 3, then I'll get you later back. And I also saw some fantastic overtaking final couple of corners, which you don't usually see as well.
Yeah, for me, the last part of the circuit is actually rather difficult, right? Because you've got that kind of area where it's pretty easy to get on and get track limits. Now, obviously, in Formula 1, they've just changed it around, and they've added some extra gravel to make sure that drivers don't do that anymore. That is the exit of the second to last corner, the Jochen Rindt corner, where everybody likes to just go a little bit wider than they perhaps should, but see, you can still do that in the iRacing game for now. I don't think they live updates the tracks like that, but for me it's going to get interesting, because are you going to dare to send it down there? It's kind of that area where it's going to be hardest to overtake. I think we're going to see that area in just a moment here, because I think majority of the racing action is going to be turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and 4, I guess. I mean, that depends on if you count the kink or not. But then after that, I find it to be a little bit more difficult to overtake, as if you try and go for a move anywhere at that point, right, 5, 6, 7, you also immediately have that problem that you just are losing quite a bit of pace if you're trying to go side by side there. So I don't know if it's going to be worth it there, but the safety car is in. We are about to get racing here. It's going to be rather exciting here.
It'll be hard to see as well too, but there's 3 wide. Almost
immediately
4.
into the action. Yeah, it's going to be the Aston leading into turn 1 nevertheless. But there's the drivers who gone off. Arthur Gustam's gone off, I think.
Yep, Karen Sharp as well too, I think. They've had a collision.
Fall back all the way now from P5 to last position. Liam Giles joins them, so does Kieran Sharp as well. Couple drivers losing positions back and forth here. There's some great battles going on around the midfield here. Who's going to dare? Braking late into the corner here. It's going to get rather tight here. Everybody makes it through nicely here. William Chandler falls back quite a bit as well there. And he is losing position after position at the moment. Don't know what's happening to him there. But he went from P7 to P13 in no time.
We kind of expected there was going to be some first corner shenanigans, and there was. We'll go back and get the replay of that one, but just want to keep an eye on these very close battles that are occurring around the midfield here. And has that, somebody's gone off wide the background, I think that was for a second, but Hayden Miller's here. As you see, there's your gainers and losers currently on your timing tower, with Falcon in the lead still.
No surprises there, but oh man, that hurts for some of the drivers, right? You do so well in qualifying, then immediately you just fall back all the way. I mean, Arthur Gustam, he's lost 19 positions. Kieran Sharp's lost 22. Keep in mind, he started at the front, basically. So it's such a shame to see that happen here now. We've got only 40 minutes to try and make that comeback happen, so it's going to get rather difficult for him to do so. Bobby Moss here currently trying to chase driver ahead of him. That is Pierre-Antoine Delard, who currently finds himself in P1 as Jay Minutto's coming to the pits, I think, or he's crashed. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, he's come into the pits. It's very early.
Yeah, might have been some damage. I mean, he was one of the drivers, I believe, that lost quite a few positions earlier on. Makes me think he's got some damage. Maybe he's been touched from behind or something along those lines, but he thinks it's not worth racing with the current damage that he's got. So he's going to come in and take the repair, but obviously it's going to cost him quite a bit of time.
Hayden Miller. Oh, this could be a turn 3 overtake. Once again.
He's going to do it, though. It's track race all the way across now. He's going to do it. It's going to be very hard to see. It's just going to be like, who's going to dare to break losses here? Coming into the next corner. They are still side by side. Is he slotting in, or is he going to try? It looks like he wants to give it a go here, so they have to leave each other space there. They were definitely side by side all the way through, but who's going to win that battle? We're seeing it here from the eyes of Tom Davidson, which is getting to see the spectacle here. coming around. They're still side by side coming into corners. I mean, you've mentioned it multiple times, right? You can go side by side all the way in this track if you want to. But now just look at how much speed they're losing compared to other drivers. Tom Davidson, he wants to get involved in this.
I think he'll get it. He might get it here on the exit. Exactly. I was a little concerned about the 76 there of Jason.
He's done it. Now Tom Davidson's going to try and capitalize here. Brakes late. Is going to make his way past, at least I think he is not quite. No, he's still around that outside. He's still holding on for his dear life. But coming into the next one, it's going to be rather difficult to try and go side by side there. So he's managed to pull off the move for now. But you can immediately see all the drivers just getting into that slipstream as soon as possible. Maybe a tiny bit of bump drafting we're seeing here as well. Now coming into turn number 1, it has been very, very close so far. And oof, that was the Mercedes almost losing control there. He managed to recover nicely here. But it looks like the McLaren is still behind for the time being. Felix Moggi there had a slight moment, but has managed to recover now. Into turn 3 they go again. And I don't think anybody's going for any heroics here. No, not quite here. I mean, the McLaren's going to try around the outside, but doesn't have the pace. And now...
They're door banging there.
Yeah, a little bit, but that's just how good racing is, right? You got to just look for the absolute limits. That was rather close here, but Felix Moggi almost sees some drivers past here. So that's going to be... the McLarens once again going side by side. Now it's actually the McLaren and the Aston here. Apologies. And the Aston is now ahead for the time being, but Jason Marco would love to try and stay with him here. Tom Davidson has won the position. And now 3 wide. Coming all into the next corner here. Who's going to dare braking latest? The Mercedes is ahead of the Porsches for now. But the Porsches are going to go side by side coming into this here. It's going to be the Maguire's Porsche, which just has to fall off a little bit there. And, well, that basically shakes up the order once again.
Yeah, this weather is unfortunately not the best for spectating, because I can't even really show the blimp camera because you can't see the cars. So, and that's the best way to show you these great battles, as you can see, because we've got multiple battles around the place.
He's still going side by side.
Get rid of these trees too. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good for the environment, right? We're racing so many cars around, we might as well put some trees in. Now, side by side, the Porsches are once again. Maguire's Porsche on the outside here, but pulling off the move. Gonna be rather difficult around the outside here, but it looks like it's just about gonna do it here. Coming into the Niki Lauda curve, he manages to put the car by. And now the other Porsches lost so much time. He just sees 3 cars just going across an Andrew Pike. Well, one small mistake is there cost him 4 positions.
That's what it will at this racing level, the door banging. I haven't got it. We've got some fantastic racing so much, so I hadn't even got a chance to go back and show the replays yet, my friend. And I will. They're not going anywhere, but the replays at the start, so we can actually see what happened. So I'm just trying to see if this race is going to start selling it out a little bit, but not in the midfield. Not in the hornet's nest, soon, as they like to say in the US.
That's how they say it. That's an interesting naming. I mean, I was actually watching a American broadcast of motorsports recently at the Sebring. And it's actually quite funny because some of the terminology you guys use made absolutely no sense to me. So I actually had to go around and Google stuff in between the races. That was bloody awful.
I commentate every night a week at the US series. And so, yeah, I've got used to that terminology quite a bit. And I do it with a redneck announcer too. So it's got that real Georgian double bang and accent kind of thing. But, who's off?
Matt Gardner. That is not looking good, my friend. He's lost a couple there. Now,
the other one's you can throw a blanket over them. I think that's another terminology. Well, let's use that one.
Yeah, that's something you'd never hear in Europe. Now, what I just wanted to point out there as well, Arthur Gustams, I mean, he was one of the drivers that went off, right? He qualified all the way up there, P5. And within a matter of 5 laps, he's already made his way back into P17 here. So he's doing a massive job right now to try and just make up those places here, to fight his way over towards the front again. He's doing a massive job right now in trying to manage that. You could just see how incredibly the foggy conditions are as well, right? Bart Raven's going to try and make his way around here, coming into turn number 3. I mean, we've mentioned it multiple times, but is he going to manage to do so? Well, the Maguire's Porsche is ahead, at least for the time being here. Louis Hesketh just about stays ahead for the time being here. And the BMW still chasing all around there. Keep in mind that BMW was the BMW that set the lap record around there, so we know it's going to be really, really quick. Into turn number 4, I think there's just a little bit too big of a difference between the cars, but he's left the door open, and that immediately means that the Porsche is now going to struggle with that drag race coming around. Bart Raven is currently side by side. Is he ahead coming into the next turn? I don't think he is, so they might try and go side by side into the next one. But no, Bardravani decides to play it a little bit more patiently and just simply has to wait for the Porsche to make one small mistake, because he's all over him at the moment. Now coming into the next corner, maybe he'll be able to line something up or using that slipstream to its main advantage. But is he going to manage? Well, I think the gap might just be a little bit too big for the time being.
And in the left-hand, the only two left-handed corners, of course, the rest are more right. So we get rid of those two left-hand corners, and you'll have a an Austrian ring. It is the Red Bull ring, essentially.
Oh man, are we starting with the puns and stuff already now?
Oh yes, we are. Anyway, I think
6 laps.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep an eye on this one and overtake up into turn 2, not 3. Sorry, I'm always going to call it turn 2. Yeah, anyway.
Oh, you're one of those.
My friend, if you want things changed, you change it yourself.
You know what? Fair point, right? If you want something, you got to go get it.
Yep.
I guess
Let's have a look at the
prime
replay at the
example of
start.
that one.
So this is Hayden Miller. No, this is no. Sorry, that's not the start. That's the rolling start. This is the. I have to go find it where they say green. Arthur, this is the 3 into 1's not going to work.
Yeah, Arthur Gustams. I mean, he was struggling to get around. He actually was touched here. What has happened then? And one driver going rather wide, and then just. I think he might have lost it on his own there.
Could have been, and that's also where Karen Sharp got involved as well. See.
Just looking at this again.
Oh, yeah. They're just a little push on the side, isn't it? Because they were trying to get it.
Like little dominoes. Yeah, and then you're in the way. There's nowhere you can go.
Now, that is very interesting because, yeah, if you're on a straight, obviously you should be going straight. Especially if you're going to have cars either side of you as well. So,
generally speaking, that's a good idea, yeah.
However,
generally, I'd like to agree here. Now, let's see what has changed here up in the order. We've seen a couple drivers fall back all the way, but I do know one thing. Bardravin isn't giving up anytime soon. Is now chasing Hayden Miller around. And Matt Smith, very close to Jamie Nuttall here, who is also chasing Patrick Dane here in the Mercedes, going rather wide there. There's action on every single inch of the track here at the moment. The Aston Martin going side by side with the Porsche. They are both struggling for grip coming out of the next turn. But is it going to be enough to just try and make your way by before the next corner? Well, they might try and go 3 wide here. Wouldn't be surprised. But who's going to back out? Well, it looks like one of them has. Now coming into the next turn, it is 2 wide here. And the Porsche still trying to get around here. But Hayden Miller should have the inside line into the next one here, so I don't know if he's gonna be able to pull that off. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna go for it anyways. I mean, these drivers, they're pushing their cars to the absolute limit right now, and are they able to do so? Coming into the next turn here, it's gonna be real close, but no, it looks like well, as I was about to say, as the Aston just makes his way through, but he goes way too wide, and now the Porsche is completely passed.
You get really punished on that corner, don't you, if you go too wide? We've saw that a few times now. Luckily, the drivers have learning. If you can't go 3 abreast into a corner, gentlemen, I'm sorry. You're not going to be seeing the checkered flag and the positions you're currently at if you're doing it. So, clever to back off a little bit, get that slipstream, and then take them into the corner. There's plenty of opportunities for overtaking on this lovely track. So, take your time, take it easy.
Another opportunity will come, right? I mean, there's only 11 minutes that have passed in the race anyways. We're only in lap 8. There'll be plenty of time to try and make up some positions here. What I find to be interesting here is like who's gonna just find that one gap from the front. I mean, you can see already that Volkan Bakkerdan is just doing that at the moment. He's just creating that gap for himself. He wants nothing to do for this, which obviously is most ideal scenarios. The rest are just gonna keep fighting. That's gonna cost him a lot of time as well. Arthur Gustafsson making his way into that turn, but has to back off, not able to just get anywhere closer just now, and already getting chased out by the car behind him. I believe that's one of the Porsches, right? Yes, that is the Porsche of Andrew Pike there. Just slipstreaming all the way, perhaps looking to go side by side. No, not yet, at least here. Right in front of us, you can see that the BMW of Bardravin just getting pushed basically everywhere. There's so many cars around him here. But he is together with his teammate into this, so maybe they'll be able to help each other out a little bit there. Right? Obviously, your teammates, you're supposed to help each other whenever possible here. If some of these privateers just getting into the way of each other now. Going side by side, William Chandler goes a little bit too wide, but is able to keep the car under control. But unfortunately, does lose out one position there. Which means
Yeah,
that Arthur Gustam still makes his way around once again. I mean, he's just on such a massive combat right now, which just shows how much pace he's actually got. Just that he's got so far to go still.
The Spaniard set the fastest lap on the last lap. That's been replaced by Karen Sharp, who did qualify right up front, remember, in 3rd place, I think it was, and that first corner spin. He's the boss man as well. He just set a 137.31, so that was absolutely blistering quick lap. The leaders are barely doing 137s. Late 137s. Volcan is.
That's the problem for Kieran Sharp is though. Now he's still all the way back there, right?
Hayden's
Obviously, Kieran, he is still in P24. He's got so much more to do. Hayden Miller now coming into the pits to serve a pit stop here, which means he's going to lose a couple positions here, obviously. And now over towards the front, you can see there's still a big group as well of drivers trying to find each other. Vinny Sobrivia is currently leading this big group here of all these Mercedes. No, it's actually Clement Cross, his teammate, who's actually in the lead. It's Vinny Sobrivia following him there with Davidson, Clibbens, and Markel all so close by.
Oh.
Everybody would love to go through. And what has happened there? I believe that one of the drivers might have pitted again.
No, it could have been
loses a few.
just a little blinking connection issue. Sometimes that might occur with iRacing. Saw some names changing over there pretty drastically, but no, that's just they're literally having a good battle here. It's William. Chen.
True. I mean, I've just checked. Arthur did fall back 6 positions, so it might have come. Is he into the pits by any chance? I don't think he is, right?
No, you're right. Arthur's back here now. Has dropped. I think. Yep, Arthur's. I think something's happened, but I've looked at that one. Second.
Yeah, surely, because he wasn't P14 earlier. Now finds himself all the way back in P20 again. So maybe pushing a little bit too hard, trying to get by those slower drivers that he's now stuck behind.
I think they still come together.
Let's see. Guess this is the replay of that exact moment then. Makes his way through, and that looks quite alright. And then, well, that's an interesting one. Porsche is basically carrying him through the corner there and just pushing him off.
You don't see that very often because the cars are generally... You don't really see people go around too often. But look at this. Battle for P2. It's kicked up a notch.
It's going to be Moss versus Delaire here. I hope I'm good with my French names. It's been a while since I had French in school. But at the moment, is Bobby Moss still leading between the two. The Nigel Mansell fan club McLaren is looking rather fast at the moment here. He would love to just try and drive away. However, Delaire is still trying to close that gap a little bit more to try and go for a move later on here. In the meanwhile, we see some more overtakes over towards the midfield as well. Plenty of action here. That's what we're guaranteed of at this point. And look at this. Once again, side by side, Nick Clibbens here. And that is not what you want to see.
Got to stay there too.
Yeah, true. You can't get past onto the track again.
Oh, don't back up anymore. That's fine. Yes, because it's just on... That's going to drop you back quite a bit because look where the gaggle of cars are over on the track map. They're not too far down the road there, so he should get back up to speed in P15th now. So has to get back into speed.
That's the problem, right? If everybody's driving so closely together, there's just very little opportunity to try and get back onto the track safety. Because obviously rejoining safely is your first priority, right? But doing it fast is also something that would help you a little bit here. It's frustrating, right? Well, mistakes happen.
Some lights being flashed there. Tom's going in. So
yep, he is
from
indeed.
E3 or 4, I think it was there for Tom.
4 it was.
Yeah. And Richard Phillips have gone in at pit road as well. So.
They're just making their way through the field, but then obviously they're now falling back all the way. No, actually, I quickly got a search for this, but is there a mandatory pit stop in this race?
I believe so.
I
believe so.
find
you wouldn't have these drivers going in, so someone went in really early too, perhaps to get it done with.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really look like a logical move, right? Unless they've got damage that we can't see.
We have 2 classes as well too. You can see with the black and the red.
Yeah, obviously, that's also going to play into consideration. And actually, I didn't mention this before, but yeah, this just shows how good some of the drivers are doing. I mean, they're just quite... I mean, I don't want to say, like, you know, that the drivers in the lower class are overperforming, because I think they are. Everybody on this grid is just incredibly fast, right? I think we can agree on that. But yeah, we do see some names here that we would expect towards the lower side of things if they're AM, but obviously everybody's up to pace here. I mean, just look at how some of these drivers are doing in the AM class. with the AM class, if I'm not mistaken, being the red ones, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, very. I mean, it's always impressive. I mean, start of the season as well too. So some drivers might be a little bit better performing than their class kind of thing required or specified. However, you got to be in it to win it, and obviously it's seizing the opportunities too when some of the other drivers have gone around and made mistakes, and then just keep it drying. So you just have to be the quickest person on the track all the time. You just have to be at the right place at the right time and keep it safely. And these battles too, remember, sometimes they cost you a lot of time. So 2 drivers have gone in. These 2 drivers are going to be for a pit lane battle. Now this is crucial where they've practiced your pit stops that we're talking about before, because right now you make a mistake and just like that has cost Louis a little bit of time.
Yeah,
I think William should be able to get out ahead. Yep, see that?
Yep. Ooh,
we don't know how much gasoline they're taking
as well. No, obviously that's also gonna be quite a big factor, right? Because obviously if you're running a car with more fuel in the beginning, you're gonna be a little bit heavier, but you also have to refuel less, which costs you less time. Now obviously you're all to do that. I think there actually is fixed fuel, if I'm not mistaken, isn't there? Now that I think of it.
Yeah, subject to the documentation then, but
yeah, there is. There is fixed fuel, 44%.
Oh, so you have to, so you can't underfuel at the start then?
No, I guess you can't, no. I guess you just have to deal with the fuel it comes with. And that's as far as my iRacing knowledge. I can only go with what it says on the sim grid here. Obviously, this being one of my first iRacing broadcasts here.
Oh, that's fine.
So you are probably the man to ask when it comes to any iRacing specific stuff, right? Man.
Well, yeah, it's I'm filling in for James too in this league. I've done it a couple of times. It's fantastic racing. James.
Oh, you're not even the main guy. Is James himself the main guy here?
Yes, sir.
All right. He knows.
So that's why bear with us there out there, chat, please. Sorry if we didn't do our homework a little bit more on that one. But sure, the drivers will be. Well, most of the drivers will be watching this back later on. They'll be well aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just so many details that you have to get right during a series, anyways, right? Like a small mistake or a slip up will happen here. But what I did just want to mention here is that we've just hit the halfway mark through the race here. So around that time, wouldn't be surprised if some more drivers are coming in now. Now that we are halfway through the race. But to me, what I find interesting now is like, how are those drivers that pitted relatively early? How are they going to get off? Because I assume that if you've got damage from the beginning, you might as well come in, get your, your stop that you got to do anyways, get that done, and then just see where you end up later on. Because you don't want to go in a second time, would you?
It's true, but Karen Sharp, remember, had gone in on that first lap. And the thing is that I'm seeing the telemetry at the moment showing he only had a stationary stop for 4.57 seconds. Oh!
No, that is Sabrivia just getting a little kiss there. In a position he definitely didn't want to. Now, he is able to rejoin the track ever so slightly safely. But, oh, man, that is such a shame. That is battle over there, and immediately into the pits he goes. Yeah, you might as well, I guess.
Yeah, you're at the pit lane entrance at that point anyway, isn't it? I mean, got to get your pit stop done. And let's have a look.
It's going to cost him quite a few, though.
David Bond's going to follow him in as well.
It's frustrating, isn't it, right? You've had such a good race up until that point, and then you just lose all momentum. Not only literally, but also just, you were in that zone, you were doing so well, and then you just get touched from behind. And then immediately, well, just getting back into it mentally is honestly rather difficult. So let's see what's actually happened there. Looked all good up in there, and then ooh, just looks like it was slower through there, and then just gets a little love tap.
Yeah, you're right on that one. I'd have to say it's probably just the driver's fault a little bit, that one. I don't like to say who's at fault, but got a bad exit on there, and it just caught you up. Yeah, see, that's just a different, especially when they're pack racing that close together. I think Vinny might have just selected a wrong gear or something like that, and just a little slow out of that corner, and of course that's inevitable to get a little tag like that at that close pack racing like this,
It happens. And although it's frustrating, that's just how racing is sometimes, right? Just these small margins, these small mistakes, they will sometimes end up costing you a lot, as is proven now for the French driver who's now fallen back all the way. I mean, he's currently stood in P24 now, which is such a big difference. As the Mercedes here leaves the battle early.
Yeah, not a bad
Gets
idea,
himself
actually,
into
isn't
the
it?
pits.
Probably
Yeah.
just getting that the memo on the radio there from your spotter or something like that. If you had it, like, oh, be careful because there was 3 cars just like you guys before, turned into 2.
Yeah, and I guess it's also just, right, like, is it worth battling all along? Because if you could just find a gap there by pitting and driving in clean air afterwards, that's obviously going to also win you quite a bit of time compared to these drivers who are battling all the way, trying to hold on to their positions for as long as possible, right? You're just going to be in clean air doing your own thing, hot lapping, essentially. And that could honestly win you quite a bit of time if you time it right.
Yes, but if they all spread out, it's also less fun for us to watch.
That's also true. You got to think about the
and
show
for the
if you're
drivers
racing,
too.
you know?
Yeah. The thrill of driving wheel to wheel with other cars is fun, you know. Otherwise, when you're just driving, no other cars are around, then you're just bursting the clock at that point. So, I love the entertainment, and that's why we like to go going to Austria, because of that very reason. And that statue at the moment, there's 20 tons, just to let you know.
It's quite a lot. Now, what else I just want to point out here, it is now Volkan back now with the fastest lap here. So the race leader has now set the fastest lap, and he is now looking to just try and gain a little bit more time compared to the drivers
Hey,
behind
sun's
him.
come out.
Finally.
Starting to clear up, look.
I mean, it is typical Austrian weather, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's good, better now. We can start seeing the liveries a lot nicer, because of course people have spent a lot of time putting these fantastic liveries on. And plus too, we can start seeing them better with the cameras. Makes my job a lot easier as well.
Yeah, that was something that you complained about just a little bit earlier as well. But yeah, I guess that's just how life is. There are more and more drivers coming in. That's Felix Smoggy here. He's going to come in and serve his pit stop as well. He's come to a stop here nicely. More drivers following him all as well. Now Asmaf Gardner now coming in. So more and more drivers coming in to serve their pit stop here, as the race only has 15 minutes remaining at the moment.
I am wondering if you said about the gasoline. So some of these cars are gonna, obviously, if they're the same kind of cars, the manufacturer, a little different. But I reckon they should make you go around the cars too in iRacing, not straight through them. You're a
guess that would
simulator.
add to
Make
the-
it work
yeah,
for your
true.
pit stops.
I mean, I will shut up because I've already called this thing a game. So I'm just never going to say anything about realism ever again, because I don't want to get screamed at from the guys actually racing in the league here.
Oh, they don't. It's only me that goes on about that. Some
It's
people
only
still
you
call
who
it.
get frustrated. Well,
Some
I
people
don't
still
want to
call it a
commentate.
game. I call it a Oh, that's right. The sprint qualifying highlights was on earlier too. I watched that yet. Highlights and Formula
Oh,
One.
yeah, don't spoil anything.
No,
for
no,
me,
no
please.
spoilers. No spoilers. I haven't seen it either, my friend. I generally these days only watch. Really have time to watch the Formula One highlights. I don't even watch the full races anymore because they're boring half the time. Pierre is in the pit road.
Yeah. Delaire's come in, serve his pit stop here as well, which means that the other driver is able to continue alone. And, well, he's going to be trying to serve that to his absolute perfection. Here is David Barnes going side by side with the crack racing McLaren here of Johnny Woo. Barnes goes for a rather big center. I think he might have scared away the
that's gonna be close.
McLaren a little bit. There's a little bit of training paint here, but they both make it through the corner nevertheless here, with the McLaren being in the lead for the time being here. But that was another big opportunity to try and get by. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't get to do so in the end, but man, that was rather close here. Now, here's the race leader driving in no man's land for the entire race. I mean, he's built up that gap now to almost 9 seconds already. And I can only say this is just getting as close to perfection as possible, right?
He's
Doing his own thing, setting fastest laps. The only thing he's got to do is try and manage that gap. And as long as he doesn't make a big mistake, I don't see anybody catching up to him anytime soon.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're your own worst enemy at this point when you're so far up the road there. Of course, lap traffic will come into play soon, no doubt, for Well, Calvin,
by
I'm just
this
wondering when
time-
he's going to head in. He's really hugging the apron, so he's going to... Yeah, that's what I thought. He's hugging that apron like your favourite grandma, so I knew it kind of, to me, indicating he was getting ready to go on pit road. Let's see if he can get Mr. Perfect and get everything perfect this weekend. So, started on pole. Has the fastest lap at the moment. About to take his pit stop in P1, so...
Well, he is going to come out of the pits, not in P1 anymore, so therefore I guess technically not perfect, but
Well, it's still...
I guess it's all relative.
relative.
depending on how you
No,
look at
because
it,
Bobby's
yeah.
gone in, Jason's gone in, Bart's gone on, so he could still very much
Oh, they
remain
have.
P1.
Yes, you're right. I actually forgot that Bob Moss came in earlier. Oh no, actually there he is. That's why. Yeah, I didn't see him come in before. I was like, what? Yeah, but everybody's now come in at the same time. at
Oh,
the front, so
Jamie's
that's
going to take
get
the lead.
interesting.
If Vulcan can get out in... He can,
it's
he
gonna-
can.
Oh,
Jamie's
just
in
about.
the final corner. There it is. Stays in
Yep.
P1.
Seems like a solid gap as well. He's not immediately under a direct threat from Nuttall or at all.
And
The
Nuttall
gap
has
is still
boxed.
2.5 seconds, right?
But yes, Nuttall has boxed, but he boxed on lap 1. And only 6-second stop. So that to me means he's still going to come back in again. There's no way he's going to have the gasoline to go to the end. No.
Yeah, I mean, there's still just, I guess there's still plenty of time to try and do something. Here is Ian Pfeiffer driving together with Bart Raven here. Well, they're side by side for the time being. And here is a potential move then. Pfeiffer ahead of Raven for the time being. I mean, this is difficult for me as well. Do I pronounce the Dutch name in the Dutch way or in like the English
No,
way?
do it in the Dutch way. It's fine. It's better to do it.
I wasn't sure Raven or Raven. I mean, I guess Raven also sounds kind of cool though.
We have somebody in the chat. We have Varid, and I can't pronounce your surname. Sylvester, I can't pronounce your surname. Sorry, but yes, you are
should I
the
give it
only
a
one in the chat. We are streaming on 2 channels as well too, but the only one on the
Siva
JP.
Stava, I guess, would be his last name. As
Make
far
sure you
as
hit the
my-
like button, please, subscribe button if you can, please, because we only need a few more to reach that 2,000. It'd be fantastic if you're enjoying the show, of course. If you're enjoying the racing, we are.
Yeah. Now, I was actually just wondering as well, like, is my restream just not working anymore, or what's going on? But I guess he really is the only one here at the moment.
Yes, yes. Well, because it's there's other things going on too. I think it's the Formula 1 going on, something like that too as well. Well, not the football, of course. That's tomorrow, isn't it, for the round of 16? Karen
Oh,
Sharp's
to be
going
honest-
back in. But the drivers will watch all this back later, so they get to have some fun. All about to see
Yeah,
them
I mean,
take-
obviously the sprint quali is finished already, right? The highlights are already up. I'm just trying to think what else could be on. Football, and you said earlier. I mean, I don't watch football actively, so I wouldn't know everything, but I believe that's a little bit later as well. So yeah.
Yes, tomorrow actually for the round of 16. So, oh, there's always something going on. Some fantastic
I mean, people-
racing going on right now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's been rather intense here for most of the drivers. This is R2 Customs for watching. The driver that made a massive comeback in the beginning, but then just one small mistake is once again just put them back all the way. Well, it wasn't even his mistake, I'd argue. But unfortunate events find himself in P19 at the moment here. That's a shame. But I guess it's just how life is sometimes, right? You're going to make the best out of a bad situation. Especially now with the fact that we've only got 9 minutes of racing remaining. I'm feeling that timer is ticking. If you want to try and get by, then you're going to have to just find that courage rather soon. Because before you know it, it's all over.
Yeah, Jamie's gone in now. I kind of figured that. There's no way he's going to get it to go to the end. So at P2, he's going to drop quite a few places. Just having a look at the track map. Trying to get... That's the car number. We'll put the positions on. Make it a bit easier. There. Yeah.
See where he ends up in just a moment here. I mean, obviously that pit's going to cost him a couple seconds here, and then also just driving in and out of the pit lane.
We'll see if we can get out
see
ahead
him
of...
falling back already.
Yeah, if you want to get out ahead of that Gaga cars, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, he should be able... It's going to be close out of the exit. A pit road. Here.
He's got to nail it right now. I think it should just be fine, right? Because they still have
Yeah.
to come all the way around, and the exit speed, I guess, is roughly similar. So I think it should be fine, but it does immediately put him into the action again. Even though he is ahead, I'd rather
crash.
have a little bit of space whenever possible. And has there been a crash? Yes, there might have been.
Yep.
What's happened then?
Spot here. I hate these trees, and my apologies on that. They've got to get rid of that in the
Ooh,
game.
that is a
Whoa.
bold scent, and it hasn't paid off for either driver.
in the final corner.
Yeah,
That's,
it seems like a big risk to be taking.
Yeah, because you will be if you get a good exit out of that, you can get them down the main straight. And of course, if not, turn 1, and if not, turn 3. But that is a little brisket for the biscuit there. That's sorry, Dave. That's too late as a send there, my friend.
That's a tad optimistic, just to put it in nice words here. But yeah, that's also going to be very frustrating for the McLaren driver, who could do absolutely nothing about that one.
Last lap, maybe you would. If push comes to shove, do that. You shouldn't do it anyway, but not with a few more. At least 6 minutes to go. Let me get that time up to it. Apologise on that one. It's not showing the race laps and not the timing.
To me, it just looked like a little bit of an act of desperation, but I wouldn't really understand why, as they're currently driving in that midfield. And this is only the first race of the season, so I don't really see why he feels the need to go for something like that at the moment. It could also just be an honest mistake, to be fair. Maybe I'm just judging him a little bit
sometimes
too
you could have like accidentally missed a brake pedal, or a cat jumped on your lap or something like that. Whilst you're into the corner.
Tiny bit of lag could just ruin your entire race, right? It happens.
But there's you'll find good, fantastic racing here on the TSRC Racing Network. So it's good, clean. I mean, never going to get a perfect race. It's never 100% not going to have some door banging and some beef, but find that 90% of the time. 99% of the time, it's always great racing.
I mean, you're saying that, but I mean, welcome back here. That might just be driving close to a perfect race. Been P1, never look back.
Oh yes, exactly. But it could have gone pearl-shaped on that first turn if somebody was to bump into him like it did. A few drivers, of course. Karen Sharp has made his way back up
the exit
to 15.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt there, but a massive, well, not a massive mistake, but a mistake over on the exit there. Finds himself going a little bit too deep. So the BMW makes his way past William Chandler there.
Bobby Moss comes in.
Bobby Moss comes in for his pit stop.
Yeah, because his first pit stop he took also was a 9-second pit stop at the very start. Maybe those damage that you saw at the start of the race there, or maybe, I don't know why they had short. Oh, of course, because they didn't need to take gasoline, did they, at the start? There's no point in taking gasoline, because you're not going to make it to the end anyway.
Very much slower. Yeah, true. Yeah, it's rather difficult, of course, in a position like this. But driving ahead of William Chandler, and now William Chandler loses yet another. Is he into the pits then? Yes, he is.
Yeah, because you said it's fixed fuel. This could be a drive-through.
Could also be, yeah.
This is a drive-through, because he's already been in the pit road. Yep, that's a drive-through. Too many off-tracks. Oh, naughty boy. And iRacing's deemed for you to go through. So that's another thing that got to be on some of the drivers' minds right now. I mean, and the likes of our race champion, that's another thing to say that. Oh, that was a bit of a power slide coming out. I reckon he's pushing for a fastest lap here.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's sending it all the way. Yeah. I mean, just that extra little touch on that big crown of his right now. I mean, at the moment he is 11.5 seconds off driver number 2. He's got the fast lap. He's been in the lead of the race, I believe, the entire time. I don't think he's been behind P1 a single time, now that I think of it. I don't think he's ever been overtaken. So yeah, it really doesn't get any better than this now, does it?
Not at all. It's looking good. Just, yeah, well, off tracks is your own worst enemy too, as well too, because you get a drive through. If he's got to push it a little too much off. See, that's the thing too of these corners, my friend. Like, even though they've got those sleeping policemen, when you call them, those bumps. They think come sleep. Yeah, you can really throw these cars around. You see it up here in turn 3. It really do throw it on the outside one up here, and you can. He didn't do it that time around there, and get good exit power down there. But I don't know how far over that you're gonna get if you get off track.
I mean, generally speaking, I feel like if you cut it too much, you're not going to be an optimal line anyways. You need some exit speed, right? You can't go too wide over there. Here we have Jason Margall together with the Mercedes next to him. That is Patrick Dane in his Mercedes here. It's currently Margall leading through here. Coming onto the main straight again. It is still the McLaren leading at least. And this is Arthur Customs trying to get around past Louis Hesketh here. Just using all that slipstream. Look at how much they're just going over to the right side. You want to make sure that they get as little slipstream as possible. But I think this might just be the send down. He's going to try and go side by side here. Does he stick that move? It looks like he might have to. He's going to try and go for it here. He leaves space on the Porsche as well. And is it going to be enough? I'm not so sure here.
No.
It's going to be the drag race all the way across. But now he should have the inside line. So I'd like to think he has a small advantage coming into this. But they can't get separated at the moment. Look at how close they are.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
This is what I was
Maybe a
saying
little
about
bit
how
too
you could
much.
use. See, he's going to go too deep and it should get the exit. No, he actually got it okay there. We're going to do another drag down to the next turn. But as I said about using that, using as much as that exit on turn 3, which he did, so he can maintain the speed out of there. These two are going to do a little switcheroos. Not quite yet. The 2 left-hander corners that you have, gentlemen. And the rest is all right.
Yeah, he has to brake. There's just no space there. You saw it earlier. He was trying to line it up to have a little bit more speed between those left-handers, but unfortunately, it didn't really pay off for him here. But obviously, Arthur not out of the danger zone yet. There's flashing lights everywhere. The Porsche driver currently really not happy with how things are going, but Louis Hesketh, well, he's got to make his way past, and with such little time left, he's going to have to do it rather soon.
The flashing could also be like good work. Remember
Well,
as well.
Depends on
Yeah,
who you're
sometimes
facing, I guess.
sometimes drivers are like, hey, yeah, good job. Sometimes drivers are like, no, I thought, yeah.
I
little
like
aggressive.
to think everybody's nice.
Yeah.
Let's at least pretend they are.
This is the last lap, perhaps, for these gentlemen to do it. So if Louis wants to get anything done now, this could be a little bit. This is a little bit of a late send.
Well, it's all going to come down to where Bakkerdan's driving at the moment. I actually haven't been able to see where he is at the moment.
He's had to come around the corner, so they might get one more lap. I hope they
I think
do
they're going to
get
get
one more lap.
yeah.
Yeah.
They should, as he's just about to cross the line here.
Yeah,
So he's going to get another one in.
Lap.
Yeah, they should just be fine. So 2 laps to try and do it then.
Absolutely. There's a few other little close battles, as you can see on your timing tower, when it gets down to that orange. You know that they're close. It's a view from half a second each.
Yeah, this is one of those. Bart Raven still close to that Mercedes of Ian Pfeiffer, who currently is ahead for the time being here. As the race time is now up officially, which means that the leader is going to be finished rather soon. I believe it is +1 lap, so they should be able to get another lap in regardless. And Bart Raven just in that slipstream right now, wants to get closer and closer. However, is there space to make a move in here?
Has he? Yes.
Oh, you're kidding.
I just want to keep my eyes on this before I look at that replay in a second. I know Arthur's dropped down to P19, so I don't know. Yes, that's got to be that battle that they had before too, for sure. Here we go. Bart's got to do something in the turn 3. Turn 2 that I like to call it. Anyway. Oh, and then the background too. Who's that that's called him?
Oh, yeah, who's that? Well, Bart Raven's currently trying to get away from the Mercedes desperately. I think he should be able to do it. There's Arthur Gussem's lost another 2 positions here. What's going on at the moment?
I think he's retiring in the pits.
Oh, man.
That was an interesting... See how far wide out that Ian went on that one.
I feel like it's also just you have to try and account for space, right?
Race leader's coming around now.
Sense.
Well, that's a race
there's only
win.
one man to do it, yeah.
That's a race win, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely no words. Just doesn't get closer to perfection, in my opinion. He's made his way through, and, well, has just been focusing on his own thing the entire time. Davidson to come in P2 at the moment. Antoine couldn't quite do it. It's a couple seconds over, but still a respectable P3 to come in. And now, in these final corners, we're still getting side by side here. This is Pfeiffer just making his way past Nick Klibbens here. In the final couple turns there coming in here. Is there going to be enough speed to try and go side by side? I don't think there is here. It's going to get rather close, but I don't think so. No, it's going to be the Mercedes to come out ahead. But it was Bart Raven in that battle to come in here, at least in P9. So he was the first one in that group. Then it was Pfeiffer. Then it was Nick Klibbens. But that was rather intense, wasn't it?
Absolutely. There's Felix, Sagi there, and Clement. But exactly, had a good drive there. 3 positions gained there. Felix gained 10. Jamie Nuttall and Hayden Miller gained 17 for Hayden. And that's, I can't show you the car because they've already retired it, but P7. But that's the man that's got the job done on a perfect weekend. Hopefully we'll be speaking to him soon. I just want to have a look at what happened to Arthur on that last lap. Now, he's pretty far away, so I think he's dropped this on his own. Just pushing it. Oh, that's just a horrible feeling, isn't it? Yeah.
I feel like he's just trying to compensate so hard, and this just adds a little bit more frustration to that bucket every time, right? It's just, he obviously had a terrible start, made up the comeback, then it's just been taken away from him again, and now it's just all gotten to him.
I don't know why he boxed, but because he only dropped that, looked like he only dropped that one place.
Maybe he's got a penalty as well. Yeah, it could be. Right. Just like contemplating retiring and then changing your mind at the latest moment. It could have been.
Race results, my friend. Why is it not showing us the race results? Should be.
Any moment now?
That is strange. Oh, we'll have to do overall, I guess. That's why. Sorry, there you go.
All right, we got there. In the end, Vulcan back again to win the entire thing. A well-deserved victory for him. And it's Davidson, Pierre-Antoine, Felix Moggy, and Clement Court to round out our top 5 here. Jamie Nuttall came in P6, then it was Hayden Miller in P7. Bobby Ross right behind him. And then we had that great battle between Bart Raven in P9, Piver in P10, and Nick Clibbens to lose out in the final couple corners to finish P11 in the end. Andrew Pike came in P12 here, followed by Richard Phillips, William Chandler, Kieran Sharp, Jason Marshall. Then we had the German of Patrick Dane, who had some good battles all along as well, followed by the cracked racing driver of Johnny Woo. And then it is David Barnes in P19. Then we have Arthur Gustams, the man who's had a frustrating race all around. I mean, had some good opportunities, but just unfortunately, the odds just weren't in his favor this time around. I guess I can say it that way. And then it was Louis Hesketh in P21, Matt Smith, Thomas Martin, and then Matt Gardner in P24, and then Sabrivia and Liam McGow's are retirements for the race here.
Speaking of which, we'll get to a couple of these gladiators to have a bit of a chat to. I think we have currently at the moment Hayden and Louis.
And Hayden.
All right, it's up to you, my friend.
They've both had quite good races here, but I think Hayden might be the one to speak to right now. I mean, keep in mind that he's gained 17 positions over the entire race, and that's a rather impressive number.
Hello, Hayden. You're live.
Wait, can he just join the channel, or do we need to drag him in?
Oh, you're going to drag him in? Sorry.
So that sounds like a good opportunity. I don't have the perms to do so.
I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, all right. Hayden, all right. Second. Yeah, all right. Hayden, welcome. Congratulations on the race there. I'll let Ricky do the interviewing for you.
All right. Well, a eventful round number 1 it was here at the Red Bull Ring. Now, I just wanted to quickly talk to you here because obviously you made quite a big comeback during the race. How did that feel?
It felt good. I don't know what happened in qualifying. That's normally not like me, but I just don't know what happened. Just couldn't get the pace. I think I set 1 valid lap out of the 5 I did. So just unlucky. Can't get the car's performance out, so I just need to keep on practicing.
All right. Well, I mean, that does make sense. Sometimes you just can't get it right during qualifying, but you did make a massive comeback through the race. And honestly, it definitely wasn't an easy race, right? Very little visibility coming all along throughout the entire race. Obviously, it cleared up a little bit more towards the end, but I guess these conditions definitely didn't make it any easier now, did they?
No, at the start of the race, you couldn't see the corner in front of you, but by the end, you could see the whole track. It was perfect conditions. You knew where to brake by other cars. You could the tires were getting worse, but for some reason I went 6/10 faster at the end, so I think I could have gotten past Jamie Nuttall, but yeah, I just didn't have the pace at the end.
Well, but still a good result nevertheless. I mean, finishing P7 out of 26 drivers, definitely a great result for the first race. Now the next race is going to be over at the Sebring. How are you feeling? Do you think that's going to be a track where you're going to be a little bit faster as well? Or are you going to be fighting with the top dogs? Or is it one you find yourself to be struggling with a little bit?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to withdraw from that race, but because I am doing stuff on that weekend, unfortunately. But I think that's a track I'm strong at, so I think I would have been quite fast. These GT4s, they're quite good on the bumps, so I think it would have been quite the action-packed race, and I think it would have been fun, but unfortunately I can't attend that one.
Well, that's a shame. Anyways, congratulations on your P7, and it's only upward from here. Anyways, now getting on here. Do we get another driver in? I think we might as well, right?
Yes. I'm gonna pull both the driver. We got Bobby and I think and Louis. Look at so, if you like. It says Bob in there. I presume that's Bobby Moss.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was what my guess was as well, right? I mean, Bobby had a decent race. Obviously, came in P8.
Let me get him. Pop him in.
And Louis, yeah, sure. All right, Bob. Anyways, that was Bob. Right, welcome. That was a rather eventful race here. Obviously, in the end, you managed to get into P8, but how did that one feel?
Ah, terrible, mate. I messed my pit stop up. I pressed something and it sent me out with too little fuel. I was running P2. Devo.
Oh, so that was what happened. Yeah, we were just talking about it on the stream, I believe, as well. Like, what's happened there?
Oh, yeah, mate. I didn't just go in for a lap, you know.
Oh,
That's why. Yeah, okay. Bobby makes perfect sense. Good racing budget you had.
Devastated, boys. Devastated.
Well, that's just how it goes, I guess, from time to time. Right? Small mistakes. But anyways, P8. Talk us through it. Were you satisfied in the end, or do you think there was more to grab apart from that one mistake during the pit stop?
Oh, look, I made the mistake in the pits there, but if it weren't for that big crash, I ain't seen, again, what happened yet, but if it weren't for that big crash at the start, I'd have been nowhere. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with P8, really, overall.
Yeah, makes sense. Obviously, that was a pretty big one, and that's also taken some of the faster drivers out of contention. Arthur Customs comes to mind, the driver that has shown that he's got the pace, but just couldn't nail it all together in the end here. But yeah, P8 is a good result. Now we are soon going to head into the next week at the Sebring. Now, I actually already talked to a driver before this, and he's told me that he's feeling quite confident in the GT4 cars around the Sebring. But how are you feeling about it?
Oh, well, I'm away. So
Oh, why is everybody
not
away?
so worried
Come
about
on.
it, unfortunately.
Is every driver we've decided to
Everybody's
interview just off that
everybody's
week?
away.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm just going to
we're
put
all
up
sick
Singer
of
there.
Sebring. So,
Maybe
but yeah, the rest of the season should be pretty good, boys. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask real quickly, those conditions were horrible for us and the cameras even at the very start. The fog, was it very difficult for you to drive in?
Nah, I live on the Isle of Man, like, it's step by that every day, mate.
Oh, that's why you're a Nigel Mansell fan club, because that's where Nigel Mansell was born, right? Isle of Man.
Yeah, so he was living here for a while, so
Yeah.
yeah, we're used to that kind of weather here.
All right.
The most British answer we could have gotten there, let's be honest.
Yeah, you're used to not. Have you ever seen the sun before?
Not for
In
a
the
long
UK.
time, mate.
The
Sorry.
sun, what's that?
Yeah. Congratulations, Bobby. Anyway, apart that pit stop mistake and stuff like that, you only lost one place from where you started. So. Good racing, good overtaking and everything like that as well, too.
Like your positivity, boys.
As always. Now, thank you anyways, Bobby. Here we've got one more driver to talk to here because Louis is getting ready.
Louis been waiting.
Louis been waiting patiently here, and I think Louis would love to tell us a little bit about his race. Obviously, he managed to finish P16 in the end, which was his exact qualifying position. Louis, welcome. Please talk us through it. How did that race feel?
It was painful, to be honest with you, Ricky. At the start, my tyres, I just couldn't fire them up, and I started to wear them too quickly, and by the end, I just had no pace. So I feel like I should have got a podium, at least in class, but I think I was like P5, P6 in the end. But although that is unfortunate, I'm gonna keep my head up and move on to Sebring next week, and hoping for a big finish there.
So we actually do have one driver that we can interview that is actually going to attend that race. We were just talking about this earlier. Somehow, all the drivers that we've been interviewing so far, well, we're not going to attend the Sebring racer. But anyway, Sebring's going to come next up. Obviously, this car seems quite all right around the bumps. How are you feeling about heading to America next race? Do you feel like you will be able to do some good damage there, or are you not feeling too confident there?
I'm feeling very confident. I've done many races around Sebring, and GT4, GT3, LP2, and I've always gotten really strong results there, even without much practice. So I'm gonna start practicing probably tomorrow and try to get some good points in the championship.
Yeah, well, I guess it's only upward from here, right? Obviously, you did have the pace in the end, but just on a few opportunities couldn't really get it all together, I'm afraid. And obviously, it was a rather intensive race, right? Obviously, we had the weather not really working in your favor. We had all the crashes all around. And honestly, we had quite a few battles all around as well. Now, I was actually just wondering as well, with those conditions, do you feel like those were a big hindrance to your race performance, or was it mainly just the tires only?
I mean, it did not help at all, especially because the temperature couldn't get in very well. I think the track temp was about like low 20s, maybe mid 20s. So even though I was pushing to try to get tire temperatures, it just wasn't working. Couldn't get any tire temps at all. So I feel like if it's more hotter next week in Sebring, I feel like it'll definitely assist me to get a better result. But if it was hotter here, I reckon I could have definitely made more of an impact.
I guess that does make sense. The next race, obviously, Sebring is located in Miami, if not mistaken, so it should be a little warmer over there. Anyways, Louis, thank you so much for joining us here all around. And I guess there's only one thing left to do for us Biggles. That's to end the stream here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, thank you very much, Louis.
Thank you.
Very good battles as well too. I was just watching on the replays there, and yeah, some good door banging that you were having of some of those drivers. I think you managed to get them, I think, by turn 1 or something like that. But still watching you battle around. So, see you next time, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. See you next week.
Now, that was an absolute honor. That was an amazing race to watch. We've seen some amazing battles, some challenging conditions. And I think it's safe to say that that was a very exciting race to watch. It was an absolute pleasure broadcasting here for you. But before we end it here, Biggles, have you got any final words for us today?
No, I don't actually. Just well, I'd probably say it's going to be more exciting than the Formula 1 race this weekend.
That's not a very high standard, though.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And thank you, my friend, for the first time we've casted together. I'm going to call you Ricky Bobby, but it's not.
Oh,
it's not Ricky
we're not
Bobby,
doing
but-
this.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, lads. Thank you guys all for joining. I will see you guys later.